So good morning. I will start by thanking the organizing committee for this invitation. So thank you, first of all, the Dean of the Department of Architecture of Aalto University, Dr. Pirio. Thank you also, Tina, Michaela, for the invitation. It's great being here. And thank you also, Paula Carolino, for having us here. So I would also like to greet our fellow researchers and the audience overall for their interest in this seminar. So I am Carolina Coelho.
I'm Bruno Gil.
And we are both architects, lecturers, and researchers at the Department of Architecture at the University of Coimbra in Portugal. So this presentation will share research findings that emerged from the CoRED project. It was carried out by an interdisciplinary team from the University of Coimbra that I have coordinated, and that use participatory methods to align educational spaces and learning practices. Okay, so CoRED is the acronym for Collaborative Redesign with Schools, an Erasmus Plus funded project, so funded by the European Union, and it was developed between 2019 and 2022. We have an official website hosted by the University of Newcastle, which was our main coordinator. You can easily access it and go through the purpose, the team, the tools, and all the outputs. CoRED team is composed by 6 partners. So United Kingdom, its coordinator, Sweden, Italy, Iceland, Denmark, and Portugal. We have always worked through digital platforms on our monthly online meetings. We've also met on our transnational events in Newcastle, in Iceland, in Brixton, and we have also learned from each other's partners' case studies on our trips, as you can see here. And though each partner in the consortium has very different expertise and comes from different areas of study, we share the common principle that well-designed spaces are important to education. Hence the relevance of aligning educational spaces and learning practices that can both hinder or enable the learning process. And so to achieve this, we draw from our motto, getting together to change school space. Precisely because we come from different backgrounds, we believe that contemporary research benefits from a collective approach within interdisciplinary platforms that intertwine specific knowledge, methods, outputs, and references from different subjects. Thus, collaboration is central to develop shared understandings and to attain a triangulated and more robust answer to this very complex question, which is the adaptive reuse of physical resources to contemporary educational activities. So this is the Portuguese team. The Portuguese team is composed by researchers from the University of Coimbra. They all come from the Center for Interdisciplinary Studies, where I come from as well, from different fields, because we believe, as I said, that this enables a more comprehensive outlook on teaching and learning at large, regarding school location, spaces and morphology, but also teaching practices, uses, and appropriation. You can see us all together already with the 2 school directors from the pilot study. So CoRED project overall aimed at developing online tools to enable educational practitioners to determine the changes that need to be made in order to support their current practices more effectively, or to help them develop more innovative and a more inclusive learning and teaching experiences from their pupils. So each partner developed its own tool to analyze school space or teaching practices, and we had to implement our own tool and another partner's tool to cross-check the robustness and adequacy of those tools internationally. So you can read more about all the tools on our website. These tools are user-friendly. They are intended to be used by the school communities themselves without guidance from academia or any researchers. And research here is translated into easy-to-use tutorials and materials. So specifically, our Portuguese team is composed of 3 different scientific fields, all of us with prior expertise on schools, so architecture, geography, and educational sciences, which allows us to use methods and conceptual backgrounds from each of these areas. So we have a full understanding of the building per se, within the city, and with current learning practices. And hence we devised this tool, which we call Survey on Student School Spaces, the acronym S3S, which is a cross-disciplinary tool we devised from scratch for this project, CoRed. We can refer back to the website, CoRed's website, where we can see here the Survey on Student School Spaces tool with a variety of tutorials, materials in a variety of languages from all the partners' idioms. So S3S is a tool for improving the school space through a participatory process, supported by the feedback of students attending the school. I will now guide you to the pilot study where we took our first tool implementation that was developed in Portugal, and then I will elaborate just at the end of our presentation on the later developments and its overall outreach so far. So, in Portugal, we have started by testing the S3S tool in 2 schools in Coimbra. Coimbra is in the center of Portugal, so quite far away from Finland now, as you can see here. This is Coimbra, so we have 2 schools, Rainha Santa Isabel School in the periphery and Eugênio de Castro School in the city center. And these schools were chosen because of their geographical differences regarding territorial dynamics, urban location, spatial configuration, and student population. And these were brought by geography, these inputs. So on the top photo, you can see Rainha Santa Isabel School, which is on the outskirts of the city. It's composed by 3 main buildings, and it dates from 1999. On the bottom photo, you can see Eugênio de Castro School, which is in the city center, has 7 pavilions, has a pavilion layout very frequent in the 1970s, and is exactly from 1972. It hasn't been refurbished yet, so it comes from the 70s. These are both basic schools with students from the 5th to the 9th grade, so ranging from about 10 to 15 years old. And the pilot study, as you can see here, was developed with 2 classes per school, 1 class from the 7th grade, so the younger students with 12 years old, and another class from the 9th grade with students ranging from 14 to 15 years old. So in a total of 30 to 40 participants per school. So this tool analyzes school spaces, as I told you, and the possibilities of spatial improvement and refurbishment using data from students and their uses in space. And it is composed by 2 main tasks. This is the tutorial, a very general tutorial for S3S. So task 1 is the students' online survey that aims at collecting data on uses, and task 2 are the focus groups that debate uses and spatial awareness through group interaction and by means of on-site focus groups. So task 1, the students' online survey. It is online because it was planned according to the lockdowns imposed by the pandemic and the difficulty in physically assessing school spaces and interacting with students. So we saw that first as a very difficult thing, very challenging thing to do, but then as an opportunity to develop a new tool using an online survey, which was a novelty at this point. So this survey explores the uses and feelings linked to specific school spaces and the consideration of potential refurbishment. It accesses 5 types of spaces, so outdoor spaces, formal learning spaces such as classrooms, but also study spaces like the library, eating spaces, the canteen or the cafeteria, passageways and halls, students' common rooms, more informal rooms. And so the survey informs on how students perceive and feel in each of these spaces, the most and least used, the spaces for informal interaction, the ones that generate higher dynamics, and particularly for us architects, question 4, how do they enjoy this space in terms of size, comfort, light, equipment, and location? We don't actually ask them, do you like this floor? We ask them, how do they feel there according to the size of the room? So second task are the focus groups. The focus groups act as walkthroughs. So the students visit the most representative spaces previously identified on task one. And this offers a very critical interpretation of the data collected and delivers a more in-depth understanding of the networks of students' uses and the reasons for their accounts of space. So now we know the reasons that were pointed out on the quantitative data from the survey. So at this point, we were able to map the likes and dislikes of the students, such as the appreciation for their school libraries, the willingness to be outdoors, to play, to eat and study. Portugal has a very hot climate and students like to be outdoors, but also their critical requirement, of course, to have better equipped, more comfortable leisure spaces, both indoors and outdoors, the lack of trees and shadows to cope with the warm Portuguese weather, and of course, the crucial maintenance for these aging buildings. They also wanted to appropriate classroom walls that enable them a sense of belonging in their school. And this very interestingly coincided in both schools despite all their differences. So this tool encourages spatial negotiation. So by presenting the main conclusions to the community as we did in a school assembly, all the stakeholders involved in the decision-making process were aware and took part in the final decision. So in Eugenio de Castro School, we asked them how I'd like this school to be, and they actively wrote down what they wished. And they discussed the need for nature-based solutions, more comfortable students' rooms, better equipped classrooms, painting and maintenance overall in a school that I recall dates from the 1970s. In Rainha Santa Isabel School, these were the most pressing needs. So redesigning outdoor spaces, school entrance near the bus stop, more comfortable furniture in the students' room, and again, painting and maintenance.
Well, that's my turn. So in the process, as Carolina showed us very well, we've contacted with so happy children, but that were actually eager to refurbish their school. So, and they would probably also presented us as their own school. So they recognized its urgent need for care and attention because the school, as you can see, is very conventional and lacked character. So it had an entrance that was unrecognizable as such, here current entrance, and had it's also a set of buildings which is very sad, even if the children are happy. I don't know. That had to be all rethought together. So the students' suggestions were incorporated into an architectural design proposal to fulfill those needs and also desires truly by means of a participatory approach. So, which me and Carolina developed with our colleagues here, José António Bandeirinha and Luís Miguel Correia from the Department of Architecture of the University of Coimbra, lockdown. So we were always working at home. As you will see, the proposal aimed to be realistic in its own terms, because also an economic in its means, because we have to argue to the municipality the relevance of this proposal, which were governing the school. So identity was given through color, from the new entrance to the existent volumes. And Le Corbusier's color schemes you can see were key to search for the inexistent character. And so each volume was assigned to with a different color. So you can see the conventional layout, and this photograph taken by the drone from the geography team, the survey team, illustrates clearly what we have to work on. So near the bus stop down here, there should be a new school entrance to which students could relate as their own, and also a school entrance that could be identified and connected to the city, because it's a fenced, and so it's not well clear where the entrance is. And more trees and green spaces were actually quite necessary, because it's all asphalt, and so the outdoor spaces are quite very hostile and bland, namely in the summer. And also space to park the bikes and an appropriate car park, because teachers parked their cars inside the residence near the main building. And so you can see here this transformation proposal, whereas the conventional layout is here contradicted by this unconventional new entrance near the bus stop with curvilinear form. And so this is also a way of saying that this is our school. This is there's only one entrance like this in the world, is this. And so the color scheme, as you can see, was also kind of connecting the old buildings with the new entrance. And then, of course, green spaces, the outer spaces, trying to contradict this asphalt and very hostile platforms of the outer spaces, and also space to park the bikes near the entrance and a new car park for the teachers. So here, the existing and versus the new entrance, giving some scale, giving a new face to the existing face of the school, aiming for this missing facade and providing a clear sign of the identity of the school to the city, unique in its resemblance and marking also the passage between the outside and the inside. And also the intervention of the outdoor spaces included, as you can see, asphalt, tables and benches, outdoor sitting areas to eat, study, and play, painting the existing buildings, also with the signs, and search for that school character. So as planned on our tool, and as Carolina already show, we have these shared S3S's outcomes, the old school, and present them our refurbishing proposals to them for each of the spaces identified by the students. And for this purpose, we have that assembly, school assembly, which was participated from the beginning from the students who had these representatives of each class and who guided actually and run the session with their colleagues and reach to the main suggestions for us. And also participants were included school leaders and also the municipality and co-ed researchers and us architects. And so here you can see the design proposal was used these visual aids and rendering and image editing, and children actively commenting and designing over the plan proposal as a truly, we think, inclusive design process to the co-rehabilitation process of this school. And so good news, but we are waiting. Finally, the municipality agreed on the relevance of this proposal and are trying to see if it's possible its implementation.
Okay, just finally, I would like to, as we can see, this was really impactful process for the students, and not only for the two classes involved in the pilot, but also throughout all the students from the school. And these students were so engaged in thinking about school space that they implemented a pedagogical project to conceive the design with the guidance of several concerned subjects of their own classrooms. And they wanted to actively themselves to paint the murals on the classrooms. So note that appropriation of the blank walls was one of the outputs from S3S. And at this moment, there are numerous classes that took part in this project and have their own mural on their own customized learning space. So all the murals are different because each class decided to do their own according to Portuguese textbooks or according to a math subject or climate change from geography. So all the classrooms are very different. Additionally, has further developments, the following case study that took up S3S was Puntilan High School by our UK partner in Newcastle. So the newly built school from 2020 were contrasting very much with the Portuguese case study. That school has approximately 1,600 students, ages between 11 and 18. And I take the opportunity to thank Pamela Woolner. I think she's here with us today via Zoom, and our fellow colleagues in the UK for implementing S3S there as a post-occupancy evaluation tool and sharing with us these results for more than 600 participants. So During these past 4 years, the co-RAD team has participated in several dissemination activities, which contributed to its widespread amongst the educational research community. And so after the project ended, we have concluded on the relevance of the participatory process enabled by S3S and on the outputs it brings forth. And we also applied it afterwards to younger children, as you can see here, in a primary school in Coimbra, with children ranging from 8 to 9 years old. We had tested, and it works still with the online survey and the focus groups. And furthermore, as the website is open access and the tutorials are widely available in all the partners' idioms, we have been contacted several times to enable the use of S3S's materials, either for academic works, such as in the Philippines. Subsequent projects have picked up on our findings, such as the one from Oklahoma University, as we act as consultants, and even governmental offices that gravitate towards participatory approaches to school space have shown interest in using S3S, like in Australia and the UK. Finally, we're now implementing it broadly in José Falcão Secondary School. It's our recent research action project commissioned by Coimbra's municipality. It involves the general community that uses this. This is a classified heritage building site, and this is even older. It dates from 1936. So it's a very relevant building to the city and to its inhabitants. We're now applying S3S in a wider school community, not only to the students, but also to the teachers and the staff. We're using the online survey with already more than 500 participants. We've been doing the walkthroughs. We have also completed these findings with workshops. And we have also specific walkthroughs with specific groups such as sports, arts, sciences, to know more about effective spatial needs from learning practices in particular subjects. Last January, we have organized a school assembly that gathered all the stakeholders, such as the school users, the municipality went there, governmental board for school buildings was also there, and a team of researchers and architects. So this enabled the school community to become really truly active agents in the decision-making and in the co-creation process. And this research really intends to foster citizen responsibilities among students and achieve an effective social impact from research. So you can have some further reading, particularly on our website and also on a paper that we written for buildings, edited by Pamela Woolner and Paula Cardellino. And so, thank you. That's it.